Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. We are on KCAA 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, and 106.5 FM, or you can catch us on the Building Solid Foundations channel, available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, or the Android app. You can also catch us on your favorite podcast platform through KCAA. Today, we're going to talk, of course, I talk a lot about real estate on the show because that's the world I know, but we're going to take a little different bend on this one. Thomas Chappell is my guest in the studio today. Thomas is the founder, and he runs the Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investor Club there in Riverside County, California. He's also, you may recognize his name and his voice when he comes on, and that is from the Real Men of Real Estate radio show, which airs the last Sunday of every month. Is Thomas hosting that. So Real Men of Real Estate, and you want to catch that every last Sunday on KCAA right here at the same place. And you can catch those same shows on the same Building Solid Foundations channel on the streaming services. So Thomas, welcome. Great to have you in the studio today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So you run this real estate investor club, and I know you started with a different club in the inland area. So tell us a little bit about how you got involved and created and now are continuing to run this real estate investor club in Riverside County.
Well, actually, when I first moved here, I was looking to continue my quest for becoming an investor. I started off in Las Vegas. But right after I got started, I ended up going to one of Fortune Builders' 3-day program and whatnot, and then I opted not to pay the $25,000 that they were looking for. And so at the time that I was interested in doing, I found somebody who's going to take me up under their wing, but I ended up moving to California for my fiance. So I came here and said, okay, I'm going to get started.
So now these training programs that you mentioned, that's one of those sign up, go to the seminar type things. That's
correct.
A multi-day workshop or whatever.
Right.
And then there was a price to get you in, but then in order to really get in and start doing stuff, you got to come out of pocket with some serious money to be part of the group, right?
Actually, they wanted $25,000 at that time. I've heard it's up to like $75,000 now, but
which is really their way of raising funds to do their project.
Exactly.
They're using you as a money source.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing is I Googled investors, and lo and behold, 2 names came up. One I don't remember, wasn't supposed to remember, but the Norris Group came up. Okay. Didn't even know the Norris Group, know anything about it, didn't even know anything about Bruce. So called the number, spoke to the reception and said, well, who can I speak to regarding investing? She gave me Aaron Norris. True story. Talked to Aaron for 45 minutes. He didn't interrupt me at all. He just listened to me. And he ended up saying, well, I really don't have a mentors program, but I can hook you up with a gentleman named Nick Manfredi. I'm quite sure you heard his name before. Mm-hmm. And I end up contacting Nick, and he was supposed to have a kind of like investment meeting because he did his every quarter. And the first one was in April, and that one got canceled because his speaker couldn't speak. The last one he had was in July of 2014, was Bruce Norris, okay? And at that time, I didn't know that Aaron was always with Bruce.
Okay.
Excuse me. So I ended up going, I spoke to Bruce, and I kind of led a charge. Now, my partners in crime, Stephen McKee and Todd Bear, was there, but I didn't know who they were at that time. So what ended up happening is that I still stuck with Nick Manfredi for a couple of months. He broke off his group, and he started having an individual group every month. And that's me.
Okay.
And it would cost me $100 just to come. So I said I would go, but I didn't know any of the lingo of what he was speaking. So a lot of stuff that he was talking about in his small, intimate group went over my head, but I stuck to it. So right before I stopped going, a couple of members mentioned Meetup. And that's how I end up finding the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, the LA RIA, which is hosted by Bill Tan, and also the Phoebe Pasadena, which is hosted by Christina Suter. So I started going to the Inland Empire meeting because it was right in my backyard. So I started inundating myself going, and I ended up meeting Stephen McKee and Todd Bear, and I told them what I was seeking, and they proceeded to take me up under their wing and taught me this business. And from there, it just sky's the limit from that point.
Okay, and the key there is after you came back from your thing in Vegas and didn't want to shell out all their money, you didn't just say, well, that was kind of depressing and I can't do this. I don't have that kind of money. You didn't just say, well, I guess if you don't, I'm not qualified for this. You went and made a phone call. You Googled and made a phone call to people. You didn't even cold call.
Exactly.
No clue who they were.
Exactly.
The people that you called are actually very, very well known in the real estate investing world here in Southern California, but also nationally.
Right.
Very well known. Both Bruce and Aaron, not so much anymore, but Bruce speak at a lot of different groups, a lot of different clubs. So you made a great connection there, and I think that's a key for anybody listening. Is you got to do something. Go take it on yourself, and don't just sit there wondering what am I going to do, or worrying, or telling yourself that I can't do this because I don't know anybody and I don't have any money. Go do something.
Exactly.
As scary as it is, and it can be, because it's out of your comfort zone to call people you don't know out of the blue and say, hey, I just want to pick your brain a little bit.
That's true. But like I tell my people at my club, Nike got the best slogan in the world. Just do it.
Just do it, yeah.
You have nothing to lose. And the thing was, I was in my late 40s, and I was like, you know what? I can't go back to corporate America, so I got to do something. And then I'm a single dad, and I was raising my child, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do here, So I was able to dive in this deeply, and the one thing I did have support was my fiance. She did help me out, so we kind of balanced it out. She was making sure that we kept a roof over our head. I took care of all the monetary stuff, and she allowed me to dive deeper into this, and I just inundated myself and got connected with a lot of people. But for those who might not know of me, I am very bold. I don't shy away from it.
And you have to be a little bit bold in this business.
Exactly.
Not arrogant, not pushy, but you have to be bold.
Right.
That's right.
And people took notice. I mean, that was one of the things that Stephen McKee and Todd Bear did when they had the Inland Empire, is that I would go and I became the unofficial ambassador to minorities. Because I'm like, if you come here, what you coming here for? Because everybody would look at them. Their uniform of choice was flip-flop shorts and T-shirts. They was known as the flip-flop investors. And everybody that I know of coming from my culture is like, in order for people to take you serious, you got to be dressed. Suit, tie, the whole
they're not
nine
going to talk to you if you show up in board shorts and flip-flops.
Exactly. So I would reach out to these people, and I see them, and like what you here for, get up, and I started walking around, introducing them to a lot of different people, and it took notice. So one day they came to me and said, well, hey, we would like to start this club, but we feel funny, two white guys starting an all-black club. And before I could say no, yes came out of my mouth, because I was actually thinking, who's going to want to listen to me? I'm still fairly new, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden, yes came out, and I've been running the club for almost 4 years, this October the 17th.
Great. And the interesting thing about real estate investing, with all the clubs I've been to, and I've been to a lot of them, some virtually, some in person, and there's really no exclusivity. There's not like anybody that's not welcome there. Anybody can show up. But there are cultural differences between people. And I find that the difference is what people visually see in a difference may be the shade of melanin, but the fact is it's a cultural difference is what's different.
Correct.
That's what the real difference is. And that's why sometimes it's not that anybody's not welcome somewhere or that they're feel out of place. It's just that the club is always, how would you say, it's created in the image of its founders.
Correct.
Right. And so sometimes you need something that fits this little subculture over here, because they need to know, how do I apply these ideas into the people that I know, into my network, in my circle of influence. And then it can be a difference. And I think that's why there is, Bill Tan has that group in LA. That was originally the Asian real estate investor group. And he kind of, he didn't really de-Asian it, but he just opened it up to everybody else, right? And it seems to fit. But there is probably a higher percentage of Asian members and attendees in that group than I see in other groups.
Correct.
Right? And so a lot of it, I think you get into Orange County, well, that is kind of, a very white world down in South Orange County. Doesn't mean, again, just so people know, the real estate world is show up and do what you got to do, and you'll make money at it. There's a lot of reaching across to help people. But it's good to have groups that fit. Like Marie Waite, who produces your show, and I work with her on in producing a lot of other shows. She runs the finest women in real estate. Is that because women aren't welcome in other groups? No, not at all. It's just because the women, to a large degree, have a little bit of their own subculture and the way they network and the way they do things. And it's good to have people that they connect to, relate to, and the people that they're going to be reaching out to for money, for sales, for listings, for whatever they need to do.
But see, the biggest thing I look at is it's not so much as that; it's the way people have been raised,
Right.
and the segregation part of it is that, well, you don't have the right criteria. Okay, if you didn't finish school or went to college and things like that, if you look at some of the people that are very successful, a lot of them didn't even finish high school nor went to college.
And real estate is a great world to be in if you don't have a college degree. And I have a college degree, but the fact is my partner, well, one of my partners does from years ago. The other one does not. His degree is from the California Highway Patrol Academy. That's where he went to school after getting out of the Marines. But he is probably the most brilliant real estate mind I've ever met. That's one reason I partnered with him. He's a good friend of mine, but he's just brilliant when it comes to thinking of how to structure deals and how to make things work without an MBA, without a real estate economics background, any of that kind of stuff. We're gonna have to take a short break, Thomas.
Okay.
When we come back, I want to pick up on this conversation, and we'll talk about a little more about getting into your club specifically and who's there, what you're doing, and what your emphasis is.
Okay.
This is Building Solid Foundations Radio on KCAA. We'll be right back after this short break.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about, so join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio. Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA Producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA Producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations Radio on KCAA. I am with Thomas Chappell today. Thomas is in charge. He runs the Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investor Club. And Thomas, give us the website for that or contact information.
Actually, Chappelle, like Dave Chappelle.
Chappelle, okay. Not chapel like a church.
No.
Okay. You seem like such a righteous person. I
Exactly.
assumed, right?
It's BIEREIC.com, which is stand for Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. Now, the reason why it's called Black is because I am a black guy who's hosting the club. And the club was created to give minorities a platform to work with people that look like them, talk like them, and walk like them, even though everyone is actually invited. So at my meetings, it's kind of funny. I have more white folks and Latinos than I have black people.
Okay. All right.
But the club is pretty much the same format in most clubs. I just want to be different and unique, because if I'm just a regular club, then why would people want to come to when you have clubs that are already established, like Bill Tan's club, like you have Carmen Hall's club, and so forth and so on. It's like, why would I want to do that? So I want to be unique, and then my logo is unique as well, because it just makes people wonder, well, what's so interesting about this club that they come and check it out, and they see that I'm in alliance with everybody else, and they come to like it, and they come a lot. Bill Tan is a big supporter of the club.
And for people that don't know who Bill Tan is, Bill Tan runs the LA Real Estate Investor Network, and he was for, I don't know, like 20 years or so, he was on the board and the president of San Diego Creative Investor Association.
Correct. Yeah, so Jay Massey, if you never heard of Jay Massey, I call him repeat offenders.
Okay. Yeah, Bill Tan's actually been on my show before.
Yeah. So it's a very diverse, unique type of club, and it's the same type of atmosphere. It's a non-sales club, so we're not selling boot camps, tapes, videos, or books, but we're giving a lot of information. So from 6 p.m. on the West Coast time, and I do have some people coming from the East. I am virtual right now. We do 1 hour of networking, and then from that point, we do 2 hours of education. So we give the speaker time to do their presentation and add Q&As if they want to. And then from that point, we do the after meeting where either the speaker sticks around or not, and we just talk about structuring deals, how we can help those who having difficulty structuring deals, or finding out what type of inventory are they out there looking for, what's available, and how can we help them get where they want to be.
And what day of the month do you meet?
It's the third Wednesday of the month. I used to be live at the Mission Inn, but because of everything that's been going virtual with COVID and things like that, so I'm virtual at this point. So my whole calendar is filled up. Matter of fact, I want to get you the last calendar month, which is in December, if you got time to speak. But yeah, it's the third Wednesday of the month, and my calendar is already full. So next year I will be doing virtual as well as in person.
Yeah, and see, the third Wednesday of the month, I'll make that work for December, but that's also Linda Evans, who was my guest last week on the show. Her club also meets third Wednesday of the month.
And it's very hard now because
I'm a club sponsor for her.
Yeah, so, everybody has a club on.
Yeah, I speak at her club every month, so I do what I call a 15-minute master class in her club. Every meeting she has, so I have to be there, and she's on ground.
Okay.
So she's on my ground now. Because you are virtual, anybody can attend from anywhere. They don't have to be from inland Southern California. They don't have to be anywhere in California or on the West Coast.
Correct.
They can attend from anywhere across the country or around the world.
Correct.
And I find that there's pluses and minuses to both. I attend clubs that are on ground, and it's great to see people, face to face, eye to eye, shake the hand, talk.
Correct.
On the other hand, Bill, I think, probably does the best of running a remote club, and because he gets a lot of people, he'll have 200 people show up to his club or more, and they are from every time zone across the country. His people that are in New York and Florida and places that are hanging out at would be 2 o'clock in the morning their time.
Exactly.
Because it's late here, and I'm tired, and I'm thinking, man, those people are still hanging out. So for people to sign up, they can go to BIEREIC, that's Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investor Club.com. Are you also on Meetup?
I'm on Meetup.
Okay.
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram.
Okay, Facebook under Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investor Club?
Yes.
Okay. And on Meetup. So a lot of people, Meetup's a great place to go find a lot of stuff.
Correct.
So if you go in there and look for Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investor Club, it'll pop up. And because it's remote, it doesn't matter where you are. You can sit at home, with the professional shirt on top and the jammy bottoms on, right? And nobody cares what you're drinking.
Exactly. The only thing
yourself.
is that if you outside of California, you will have to go in to the search bar, put California or Riverside, California, and it'll pop up.
Okay. So there must be another Black Inland group somewhere else.
I don't know about that, but that's from my understanding. a lot of people can't find you in their market.
Because Meetup's regional, probably.
Exactly.
Okay, so Meetup hasn't caught up with the fact that a lot of it's virtual.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
So
So
you
got it.
have to type in Riverside, California in order for it to pop up.
Okay.
So that's what you have to do. Just go to Riverside, California, because I attend a meeting every Monday night and every Tuesday morning that's based out of Jersey.
Okay.
So a lot of those folks that I've made a reputation start to come to my meetings as well. So yeah, I do have people from different parts of the country coming in and listening on the meetings and whatnot.
And what can people expect when they attend your meeting? What can they expect?
They can expect very friendly, open atmosphere. Welcome. The great information, like on the 15th, my meeting is going to be the Wednesday of the 15th. And Sharon Barnes is going to be speaking. I know you heard of Sharon Barnes. She's going to be using, because she's an attorney, she's also an agent, and she does flips and whatnot, but now her specialty is ADUs.
Okay.
So she's going to be focusing and speaking about ADUs on Wednesday the 15th.
And that's a big thing in California, right?
Right, exactly. Then she's double dipping because she's also going to be the guest on the radio show.
Okay.
So on the 26th, she'll be speaking on the radio show.
Okay, the Real Men of Real Estate show.
Correct,
That's right.
yes.
And of course, you can catch that again on the last Sunday of the month.
Correct.
And what time is your show airing?
It's from 1 to 2 Pacific, 4 to 5 Eastern.
Okay, on KCAA radio. If you are outside the listening area, so KCAA covers Inland Empire, LA County, parts of Orange County, and Southern California. It's the local NBC affiliate. But if you are outside that listening area, you can go to kcaaradio.com and just click on it. And you can watch the show and listen to it right there. Or after the fact, it'll be in the archives on kcaaradio.com. Or what's better is to go on to the Building Solid Foundations channel on Roku, Amazon Fire, or Android, and you can just sit at home and kick back. You don't have to be at your desk at your computer. Just kick back with something, eat something in front of the TV, have some popcorn, and you can watch the show and learn something, right?
Exactly.
Keep a little notepad next to you, though. There's always good information.
Correct.
All right, and so every meeting, you said you do networking. How do you do networking virtually?
Virtually, like I said, you go to a lot of different meetings. Like I go to one out of Jersey. Mm-hmm. They call the Real Estate Wealth Institute, and basically they're just networking based. So they try to stay within at half-hour increments, but sometimes it lasts to 2 hours. And they do a half-hour networking.
Just through Zoom? Is that what it is?
Zoom, yes.
Okay.
They do half-hour networking, then they turn around and do a half-hour education piece. Then they go out and do a half-hour breakout room, and then they turn around and do a half-hour open forum. So if you want to ask questions about the presentation, or if you want to promote whatever it is that you're promoting, you get that extra half hour to do that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, and I know that there's some effective networking that being done. I know the LA group, Bill Tan's group, does a very good job of networking remotely, and you're doing that in your meetings as well. Your Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investor Clubs, you're doing networking virtually.
Correct.
And are you using breakout rooms, or is it just open forum?
Depending on how many people attend for whatever topics they if it's not a big attendance, then I let every individual speak. But if it's a big attendance, then I do breakout rooms because I want to be mindful of my guests' time. I want to give them all the time they have to do their presentation because they prepared it, they got it together, they have information they want to give out, so they can help guide people in the right direction to get what they want.
And the great thing about these real estate clubs, if you can, some of them are free to attend, some you pay to attend. All of them have paid memberships, but if you look at the price of that compared to the value you're getting, if you go to try to find real estate education in some seminar or workshop, it's going to be thousands of dollars probably, plus travel and airfare and all that garbage.
Pricey.
Yeah, very pricey. You can get great information in a wide range of different services, products that you might need, types of real estate transactions, find collaborators, all that, every single meeting at these clubs for almost next to nothing is what it is. It really doesn't cost much at all.
It doesn't.
And the value of the information, and not only are you getting the information, but when you go to these big events, you don't really ever get to talk to the people that have the information, right? They're kind of like the celebrity speaker sort of thing.
Exactly.
Unless you paid a super high VIP ticket or something and got a dinner. That's just a big money thing right there. But When you hear at the investor clubs, you can talk with them. There's interaction that goes on. You get to connect because there's usually Q&As that go on, and sometimes they're involved in the networking part of it. The other thing I'll say is a lot of times those paid real estate deals, those are people that did stuff 30 years ago, are now they designed a program and now they're still teaching the same stuff 30 years later in a different market. At the real estate clubs, you're usually listening to people that are doing it today. They're doing transactions every single day. They are current in the market and they are buying, flipping, selling, renting, loaning, whatever they're doing.
Correct.
And that's a huge difference. We're going to take another short break. We'll be right back after this. I'm talking to Thomas Chappelle.
Like
Dave Chappelle.
Exactly.
I know Dave Chappelle. He's a great comedian. He's hilarious. He's been in a lot of fire lately, but that's because he's funny. So Thomas Chappelle, Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investor Club.com, BIEREIC.com, or go to Meetup. Make sure you put Riverside, California in, and then look for Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investor Club. Or it's third Wednesday of every month. And make sure you catch Thomas on the Real Men of Real Estate show on the last Sunday of the month. We're going to be right back after the short break. I'm Steve Matley on Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about, so join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio. Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA Producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA Producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. We are today with Thomas Chappell. He is with the Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investor Club in Moreno Valley, California. That's Riverside County. And he's available to anybody, anywhere, because they're meeting remotely, virtually right now. So you want to go check out Meetup. If you are on Meetup and find that club, make sure you put Riverside, California, and then look for the Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investor Club. You do not have to be black. You do not have to be in the inland, and you don't have to be an active real estate investor to join the club. You can just come in and learn something.
Exactly.
If you're just checking things out, kicking the tires, if you are someone that has a service or a product to offer to investors, you're welcome to join the club and meet people, talk with people. So, Thomas, I want to get into some of what you personally do in real estate investing, because not only do you run a club, you are actually a real estate investor.
Correct.
You're doing this stuff
Correct.
every day, which is very important. A lot of people try to teach people, but they haven't done it forever, or they read a book on it. You're actually doing it. So tell us a little bit about what your personal real estate investment portfolio includes.
Basically, I had started off starting off as a wholesaler like most people did, because it was like, didn't have any money, didn't have any knowledge, and all the other different things that people come up with. Didn't have a contractor crew and things like that, and those are the things that you need.
Okay, so now for people that are listening that don't know what a wholesaler is, what is that?
Wholesaler is a person that finds a deal, like say for instance, a family member or friend who wants to sell a property, but they don't have the money to buy the property. So they go find an investor to invest, have them to actually purchase the property for them and give them a finder's fee. Or they can do the other thing, which is a JV partnership, joint venture partnership, and they can split the proceeds, or whatever they put into is what they get back and things like that. So I started off doing that because I had couldn't put anything in my own name, stuff like that. So I started off doing that.
So you're hustling up properties
Exactly.
for other people to do work, and then they're paying you because you went and found the property.
Correct.
That's right.
So my first actual real estate deal was a wholesale deal. I'm not gonna say any names, but the gentleman had guaranteed me I was gonna get $5,000, and I'm like, okay. So what ended up happening when the dust settled, I got 2,500. And I was a little disappointed, not because of the 2,500. I was disappointed because every time I saw the gentleman, he kept saying, "You're gonna get $5,000, you'll get $5,000," and when the dust settled, I didn't. So I could have got mad, which I was a little perturbed, and said, screw this, I'm not gonna do this no more, and went back to my 8 to 5. But I said to myself, this is not the last time I'm gonna see that kind of money, and I pushed through. So what I ended up doing is a gentleman that took me up under their wing. They taught me how they bought, how they buy properties, what the ins and outs of it and whatnot. Once I understood how they was buying, they bought all my deals. And we just partnershiped on every last deal. I've never used any of my own money. And a lot of people have a hard time understanding, how can you do this by using other people's money? And what's the criteria and all this other stuff that falls behind it and whatnot. Now, you can't expect to get the whole pie. You're going to have to get a piece of the pie instead of the whole pie.
But that's okay. I've learned that 20% of something is always worth more than 100% of nothing.
Exactly.
Right?
And some people just lose their mind because they want all the pie, because they're looking at, I got bills to pay.
Or they get miffed that someone else in the deal is making more than they are.
That's true too.
But you know what? If someone else is making more than you, at least you're making something. And if there was no deal, nobody's making anything.
Exactly. Yeah. But see, a lot of people sit around and watch them HGTV movies or programs where they give you a romantic side of the struggle.
A false, it's a scripted
exactly.
side of the story, yeah.
So now you're thinking, oh, I can go do that. And then you realize that it's more to it than meets the eye. You can't come in and fool yourself and say, oh, well, I'm going to make all this money and I'm going to fire my job and I'm going to retire.
Well, you can make a lot of money on the TV projects because you're backed by a national sponsor and a huge network.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of room to do everything wrong and still make money.
Exactly. So what ended up happening is that I bought a lot of deals and whatnot, and then went up on my own, a couple of partners and I, and now we got property that we keep as rentals. You know what I'm saying? And then also I find properties, and if I can't buy them or if I can't keep it as a rental, I'm wholesaling, because I'm not going to let a deal slip through my hand. I tell people I'm a capitalist. I want all my money. So the thing of it is that those are the things that I do. I'm also a lender. I lend money throughout the United States for new development, new construction, apartment complexes, long, short-term rentals, as well as fix and flips.
So when you say you're lending, you personally are lending, or you are representing lenders?
I'm a representing lender.
Okay, so there again, you don't need to have $100 million sitting in a bank account in order to do this, right?
Exactly. So the biggest thing, and the thing I really truly love about this business, is that I'm a mentor / motivational speaker. And I tell folks, I'm like the military. I'm going to break you down and build you back up, because you can't come into this industry and say, oh, I'm going to do it this way because of what you saw. It's a whole different dynamic. It's everything you learn that you got to throw away. And like the Bible tells you, can't put new wine in old wineskins. It's just not going to taste right. So you have to put.
I believe it actually destroys the wineskins, right?
Exactly.
That's the story, yeah.
So the thing of it is that you can't come into this industry or any industry with preconceived ideas. You have to accept it the way it is and work hard at it to be successful with it.
So that brings up another question I have. What are some of the myths? The myths of this business?
Whew, how can we count the ways? One of the biggest myths is that, you're going to come in here and make a lot of money and fire your job. That's one of them.
No, that probably will happen, but probably not in 6 months.
Exactly.
There's a plan.
Exactly. And you have to build that. And see, like with me, I have to keep going. So in other words, I go to a lot of investment meetings, whether they virtual or in person. Before the COVID, I was everywhere.
And every one you went to, you wanted to go, you were excited to go, and there's nothing else in the world you want to do other than go to those meetings? Or
Exactly.
did you go sometimes where you were like, I'd rather stay home tonight?
No, because the biggest thing is you meet a lot of interesting people. And a lot of those people you meet are where you started.
That's right.
You started off, being not truly involved. You was like, this can't be real. You was very skeptic. Oh, this is not real.
Well, you also don't know enough to understand that it's even possible.
Exactly. So that's what I end up doing and end up finding out. I didn't know when I was going to the meeting, especially Inland Empire, that people were taking notice of me. I didn't know that. I was doing things naturally. I would get people up and introduce them to everybody and then turn around, introduce them to the organizer. And I didn't know that I was being noticed. I did that to Stephen McKee and Todd Bear. I did that to Bill Tan. I did that to Christina. And I didn't know I was being blessed. And all of a sudden, here I am with my own club. Mm-hmm. I wasn't thinking about it. I was just being natural.
So one of the biggest key to me for success is show up and act like you're interested. Just do that. You show up and just seem like you're interested in what's going on. And people do notice that because a lot of people won't do it. They just won't.
And that's the one thing Bill Tan told me. He said, you know what, Thomas? I like you because you show up. Yeah. You show up every day and you always engaging. That's the biggest thing.
You don't grab a plate of food and sit in the corner and watch.
Exactly.
And the thing is, if someone will do that, you can teach them all the technical stuff. I can teach anybody all the technical stuff in real estate, all the technical stuff in construction, all the technical stuff in finding a contractor, all this technical finding money. I can teach them that. What I can't teach them is to have some level of ambition and self-discipline to get up, show up, and then participate.
Exactly.
So if they're willing to do that, the other part's the easy.
That's what makes it interesting to me. That's why I tell people, I'm like the military. I'm going to break you down. I'm going to build you back up to have the confidence, because my biggest thing is that I didn't have the confidence. Before I started, a lot of people didn't know. I really, truly wanted to be an actor.
Did you really?
I did. Yeah. But I'm not a good reader. You know what I'm saying? So that was one thing.
That sticks you with improv then.
Exactly. Well, the thing was, back in the day, you and I about the same age, is that, they would they would have talent scouts before social media, and they would bring you a script and have you read it on the spot.
That's right.
And so since I'm dyslexic and I freaked out, so I end up going into sports. But then as I got good at sports, then I, injured myself. So that went out. So I got a regular 8 to 5, and I had kids and paying child support and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I can't do this.
Now, is it true that if you're dyslexic and you play sports, you tend to score on the other team's goal?
No, that's not true. But people have challenges, and everybody think that in their challenges they can't be successful. But if you really truly believe in your heart that you can be successful, you will, no matter what stumbling blocks you come across.
Yeah, and the belief has to be accompanied by action.
Exactly.
I'd say that's where you have to have the belief and then get up and go do things. And confidence is not knowing everything. Confidence is just doing things because you know that if I keep doing things, something will happen. I will meet, and usually you meet the right people.
Exactly.
You try what you can to learn as much as you can, but what's better than learning everything you can, although I highly advocate that, is meeting somebody who knows the things that you don't know.
True. That
will work with you and help you. And if you can meet enough of those people and put things together, I remember working with a company where the owner of the company would go to these events, And he'd go and meet with this person, talk to all these different people, an architect and a banker, and an engineer, and a property owner, and a developer. By the end of the meeting, he had a project put together. He'd bring everybody together. He'd basically, but this, and he'd say, okay, you do this, you do this, do this. I think we've got a solution here. Here's a project. We'll start Monday. And he'd have a whole project ready to go. And of course, he would have the fee for managing the whole thing, right? That's what I learned. Just go talk with people and figure out how can you solve all their problems and find the right people that play the right instruments and just be the orchestra leader.
Exactly. You'll come to find out that you and that individual are almost alike, have a lot of things in common. You wouldn't know that. A lot of people don't realize when they speak, they tell on themselves and not realizing that they're doing that. Yep. And they're telling you their story, and you just got to be paying attention and listen.
All right, we're going to take another short break. We're going to come back and wrap this up with our final segment with Thomas Chappell with Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investor Club on Building Solid Foundations.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections. Hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about, so join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio. Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA Producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA Producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations Radio. This is your host, Steve Matley. We are on KCAA. I am in the studio today with Thomas Chappell. He is with the Black Inland Empire Real Estate Investor Club. And we've been talking through his journey. We talked about the clubs, and as we left off, we were kind of talking about, we talked about some of the myths, but we also talked about getting out there and doing things. So I want to get back into some of the myths. You mentioned the idea of not having to have a lot of your own money to get started. A lot of people think if you're going to get into real estate, you better have some deep pockets. You better be able to have some money that you have available, and it has to be yours. You have been pretty successful starting with nothing as far as money goes.
Correct.
But with a lot of sweat equity, lot of get out there and do it, right?
Correct.
So how does somebody get started if they don't have any money and they don't have any knowledge?
Well, the biggest thing to do is start coming to these investment meetings. Go to several, not just go to one. If you go on meetup.com and you start looking for real estate investment clubs, I mean, some of them are hard to tell which are the sales and which are the non-sales, but you want to go 50 miles outside of your area, because if you just do your area, you might find one or you might not find any. But if you go 50 miles, it gives you a multitude of choices to attend all these different meetings and figure out which ones fit you the best. Not look at the price, because if you're going to invest into something, if you watch Shark Tank, they got this panelist and people bring their products. The most people would willing to invest in you. Yes, if you bring in something, if you feel like you got something to lose, they don't want to be the only one feel like they got something to lose. So whether you bring in money, whether you bring in talent, whether you bring in anything else, it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. It can be you know how to do carpentry, you know how to do plumbing, whatever the case may be. That's what you can bring in as an attribute to help out. So you go to a lot of different meetings and you start inundating yourself with the club and the people and the organizers and things like that. The next thing you do, you find you a couple of mentors, build up your buyer's base, find you mentors, and then take them out, pick their brain, whether they take them to lunch, breakfast, or whatever the case may be, or just do a ride along and pick their brain. Find out the items they like to buy and how they buy. And then you got your contractors, you got your escrow people, your title people. You got all these different people that you can connect with, do ride-alongs with, pick their brain. So that way now you know how to assess a property very well, and now you know pretty much how a contractor prices the repairs of the property. So that way when you give out what they call a blind offer, you're pretty much in the same ballpark as your contractor when it comes to rehab costs. So this is when you come down and learning how to do the numbers. When you get all these people in place and you start going line by line and understand how people buy. There was a show that I watched, and it was, forget the guy's name, but he's a finance guy out of Florida, and he did a reality show called Undercover Millionaire, where he said he didn't want none of his contacts. He went to Erie, Pennsylvania, and he created a business. But he started going block to find people to help him out. And the one thing that got me is that he was looking at buying a car. Went to a couple of used car dealerships. They wouldn't help. So he found a dealership that was going out of business. And he negotiated a Honda Civic, 4-door sedan. They wanted 12. He got it down to 7. Then he turned around, took the car to the car wash. He wanted to sell it for 45. He sold it for 39. He made a $3,200 profit. So the purpose of me saying that, just don't look at the money aspect, but understand how to create multiple income streams, how to create systems and things like that. But you have to be inundated, going to these events, talking to these people, having them to walk with you on every aspect. Call them up and ask questions. Hey, I want to do this, but I'm not sure how to structure it. Could you help me out? Things like that.
And the key there is, most of the people that know the knowledge, they're busy. And a lot of people approach them and say, can you teach me this? I have people all the time that talk to us and say, hey, can you, do you do training? Can you teach me what you do? And my answer always is, I don't do training programs. I don't do anything formal like that. However, there's always the ability to train and mentor someone who's bringing something to the party. So what do you have? And that's what I want to find out, is what are you bringing into the deal? Because what you have to be careful of when you're really successful is the parasites, right? The ones that come in, they just want to take your information, but they're not contributing to what you're doing. And that's why if in your case, what you contributed was you went out and found properties people could do projects in. Correct. You found it for them. Well, that takes a huge amount of time burden off of them, because it takes a lot of work to go find properties, especially because most of them aren't listed.
Correct.
So you're going out and finding someone that's willing to sell you something, and you're solving that person's problem by selling it that they didn't know would be a good solution, and then letting someone else come in and have a project out of it, and you get paid for doing that effort.
Correct.
And you don't need money for it. So you have to have something to bring. We've had people come to us. Sometimes they introduce us to people that have money for projects. That's great. That works. Sometimes they'll maybe have a piece of property that they put in as a joint venture. And I don't have to go find the real estate. They brought it to us.
Correct.
And we just have to do the rest of the work on it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they connect us up with developers or builders that would buy our thing. Okay, well, that's something. So they have something to bring to enrich the project. And for those people, yeah, there's room to teach. I'll be happy to sit down and explain things to you.
Exactly.
And I think that's the key. If you're going to talk to people, if you're going to look to find mentors, first ask yourself, what can I offer them? Or maybe the first question I ask when I say is, What can I do to help you and make your life easier, make your projects go better? Is there something I can do to help you in exchange for, getting a little bit of advice from you? And if it's approached that way, most of the people that I've met in this business are more than happy to share. Because we're always looking for other people to help us out, different people that are kind of little project partners and collaborators that can take a little burden off of us. And if those people learn what we're doing in exchange, I don't have a problem with that.
Of course.
The pie is so big; it's not like it's a competitive thing. Well, if I teach you how to do it, then you're going to take all my projects. It doesn't work that way.
I got advice for some people that really want to do anything. Is that there's a movie out there called The Founder. It's by a gentleman named Raymond Kroc,
Right.
who became the founder of the franchise of McDonald's. Now, I tell you, when you look at this, it's a 1980 movie. Michael Keaton played Raymond Kroc. When you look at it by yourself, because I can tell you one thing: if you watch it with somebody else, you're gonna get distracted. However, there's gonna be something that's gonna make you think that he stole the business from the brothers, and that's not true.
No, he created a different model of it.
Exactly.
We're going to have to wrap up. So that's your homework assignment. Go watch The Founder with Michael Keaton. It's about Ray Kroc. This is Building Solid Foundations Radio. My guest today has been Thomas Chappell with the Black Inland Empire Real Estate and Investor Club. Check them out and attend their meetings. We'll see you next week on Building Solid Foundations.